There have been pretty serious questions for a long time about First Lady Melania Trump's legal and immigration status when she came to the United States. And we have every reason to believe that she was working illegally here, modeling on a visa that doesn't allow her to actually be doing any work. And we were told way back when, I don't even remember when at this point, a couple years ago maybe, that there would be a press conference to clear all of that up. It was scheduled to be, I guess, at some point, and it's never happened, and it's clearly not going to happen. But now there's a whole new set of questions about this. And this matters not only because the First Lady of the United States shouldn't have questionable immigration circumstances in her past, but also, and most importantly, because so much of Donald Trump's focus during his campaign has been on illegal immigration and visas and the wall and deportations and so-called extreme vetting. And what we've now learned from a new Washington Post article is that back in the year 2000, Melania was dating Donald Trump at the time. Imagine that. Imagine dating Donald Trump. It's already horrible. And she started asking for a permanent residency in the United States on the basis of extraordinary ability. This is the EB-1 visa. It's sometimes known as an Einstein visa. And it's for people who have, as the name suggests, very crazy hair. No, an extraordinary ability or skills or a job where you simply can't find an American to do it as well, or something very, very unique, right? And that immediately gets me wondering, what exactly were Melania Trump's, or at the time, Melania Naus's credentials that would justify giving her an EB-1 visa, right? She had been in the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated wearing a string bikini. And although there might have been some interesting elements of physics portrayed in that picture, I don't think she's exactly a physicist that warrants an EB-1 visa. And in the following year, she got that EB-1 visa. Most people who get that visa are academic researchers or business executives from really big multinational firms, Olympic athletes, Oscar-winning actors who have, quote, sustained national and international acclaim, not random, relatively obscure models. And in general, only a fraction of 1% of the million green cards issued that year went to people with extraordinary abilities. And we're supposed to believe that Melania deserved to be one of those people. So first and foremost, was there cronyism? Was there potentially even more than that at play? Bribery? Who knows? But it all stinks. That's number one. Number two, this is yet another instance of Trump pushing policy to appease his base that's totally disconnected from how he lives his life. Because if we are to presume or suspect that there was some special treatment for Melania on the basis of being Donald Trump's girlfriend at the time, then it stands to reason that Donald Trump lived his life in a very different way than what he's advocating in terms of policy. And a couple of weeks ago, I raised the question of how Melania Trump's parents are here, because it seems more and more clear that Melania Trump's parents are here because they were sponsored for so-called chain migration by Melania Trump, which is a policy that Donald Trump wants to end. But for today, the major new question is how and which immigration authorities thought that Melania Trump warranted an EB-1 visa. I don't know the answer, but I can't think of how we would say, let's give her the Einstein visa.
And normally I wouldn't really care that much about the immigration status of any one particular person.
Absolutely.
It's the hypocrisy that really gets to me here.
That's right.
It's the same thing about how Melania Trump is going to champion the effort against cyberbullying.
Oh, right, yeah.
And yet her husband is the chief cyberbullier. I mean, there's a clear connection here.
No question about it. It is mostly the hypocrisy. As I said before, I don't want Melania Trump deported. I don't want Melania Trump's parents deported. I want the hypocrisy to stop, and I want the cronyism to stop, and I want the nepotism to stop. And the criteria for the EB-1 visa, the criteria are subjective to a degree, right? But there is this rule of thumb, which is only the top 2% of people in their field qualify. Melania wasn't even in the top 2% of European models. She really wasn't even in the top 2% of foreign girlfriends of American rich dudes. I don't even know what that means. I'm kind of kidding. But she was not, in the bigger scheme of things, a notable person. And the only extraordinary thing I've seen her do is tolerate being married to Trump, to be perfectly honest.
So if it was some world-renowned supermodel like Gisele Bündchen, I think this would make sense. But given the fact that she was obscure and not too well known
Yeah.
within Europe,
Listen,
it doesn't make sense.
You can make the case that it would make more sense to give Giselle the EB-1 visa. Of course, I think ultimately she became an American citizen because she married an American, Tom Brady. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know Giselle's background, but right. You can make a stronger case for Giselle, but you can also make a case against Giselle. And if you can make the case against Giselle getting an EB-1 visa, then the case against Melania getting it is completely obvious. So the hypocrisy knows no bounds. The questions are not being answered. Melania's spokespeople and White House staff were asked, Melania, are Melania's parents here because of the same chain migration that Trump wants to eliminate? We didn't get an answer to that. Questions have started. What is the explanation for Melania Trump having received an Einstein visa, an EB-1 visa back in 2001? And we've gotten super general and broad statements like she was more than qualified for the visa as, I don't know if they called her an internationally renowned model and sort of like a humanitarian or what exactly the framing was. We're just not getting answers. And you know what? Maybe we just have to accept that we're not going to get the answers ever.
Yeah, if only Michelle Obama was an immigrant herself,
right?
Then Melania Trump would have a speech to copy.
That's
she could
exactly
just follow
right.
that example.
Hey, and you know what? If Michelle Obama had been born in another country, she actually would have maybe merited an EB-1 visa. Didn't she go to Harvard and a very well-respected and brilliant lawyer? She actually might have qualified for an EB-1 visa by any sort of reasonable standard. Send me your thoughts. What the hell is going on here with Melania Trump and immigration and EB-1 visas and the hypocrisy of the possible chain migration? I'm on Twitter at @Pakman. Follow me there. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. Today's program is sponsored in part by Futur. Futur is a social forecasting game where players come together and compete with each other to predict future events. You open up the game on your phone or web browser, you'll see a whole range of forecasts covering topics across the board, politics, sports, so much more. You wager on predictions about real-world events using Futur's in-game fake currency, and you earn more of this currency every time you make a prediction that comes true. You can show off your prediction skills to friends, improve your forecasting ability. I'm even on Futur. You can find my account by clicking the link in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And this week on Futur, I posed the question, will Robert Mueller's Trump-Russia investigation end during this year, during 2018? What do you think? Place your bets, and you can sign up now at futur.com and start making your forecasts on political topics and so many other topics. It's free, and it's available on both Android and iOS, as well as on web browsers. That's futur.com.